So the word daily gets thrown around quite a lot in the car world, but what is the perfect daily? Is it a car that will basically cost you nothing to run? Is it a car that you can fit the family and the dog in? Or is it a car that has loads of power at the weekend? You can have as much fun as you can possibly have. Well, I think it's a mix of kind of all of them really. And this, the brand new Audi RS5, might just be the perfect daily. So the base price for the new RS5 Coupe starts at £69,000, but at botb.com you could win a brand new one of these for just a few quid. Go and check out the link below and you never know, you might just be next week's winner. Let's first have a look at the front of the new RS5, and characteristic of all RS models, you have the big honeycomb grille on the front, which is fantastic. Although this one, I don't know why, half of it doesn't get used and the other half is feels quite flimsy. I reckon if you were to bump something quite lightly there, you might end up cracking that. But it's got some incredible styling features, a lot of which are fake, as people put it, but I think it looks cool, so I don't think it really matters that much, including these cool vents up here by the lights and also down here on the side of the front bumper as well, which kind of hark back to some of the old rally cars that Audi used to make. What I love about the new RS5 are these aggressive lines that go down the side. When you're sat in the driver's seat and you're looking through the mirror, you see this slit that goes down the side, and I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. On this model that we've got today, this is a 20-inch sport alloy wheel. There are a few options which we will of course cover in the famous ITH options. As we come down the side of the car, get these nice little, again, fake grille, but does it really matter? It looks cool. RS5 badging on the side, black wing mirrors. I just think the white with the black works really, really well. As we come down here, you get this lovely sloping roof of the coupe. If you did, however, want the 5-door Sportback, it's the same base price, so it is just your personal preference whether you want 2 doors or 4 doors. Now, as we come around to the rear, you get some really cool, again, vents on the side, a bit like the rally cars back in the day. The cool lights. I think the back of this car really, really looks fantastic. And as we come round, black Audi badging for both the RS5 and the 4 rings there. And as we come down, you get the huge oval tailpipes on this. They are massive. And as we're talking about daily cars, well, we need to look at practicality. So let's start with the boot, as we're at the back. 465 litres in the RS5, the best in its class. You have quite a wide opening as well to get stuff in, and you've got a couple of cool little handles as well. One over here, which will do just the left-hand seat, and then there's 2 over here. One of them will do just a ski hatch in the middle, and the other one will do the actual seat. So loads of room, and if you put those rear seats flat as well, tons of space, absolutely tons. So let's go from the boot to the rear practicality of the RS5 Coupe. Now, being it the Coupe, we need to pull the little handle here to get in, move the seat forward, and then you can push a button and the seat just electronically moves forward to ease you getting into the car. And if I'm being honest, depending on how tall the front passengers are and the driver is dependent on how much room you're going to get in the back. I mean, I'm 5'10" and I'm struggling a little bit for space back here, but it is quite a nice place to be. You've got Alcantara on the seating, which is really nice. You've got a little bit of room in the middle here to put your mobile phone, and it's got some non-slip stuff as well there to stop it moving around. You get 12-volt cigarette lighter down here. You get your own climate control as well, so you can choose your own temperature. In terms of practicality, pretty good. You've got an armrest here, but there's no storage in it, which is a bit of a shame. You can, however, get into the boot by opening the whole thing up. You've also got a bit of storage bin down here and a nice little armrest, and this is quite cool, there's a cup holder just down by the door as well, which I think is a really nice little addition that Audi have managed to fit in. You've got a couple of reading lights up here, and yeah, I think for kids, it's absolutely fine. For adults, I think short trips only for adults. So from the back to the front, push the seat back into the cockpit, as I like to call it on these Audis. And they are a fantastic place to be. I like that it hands you the seat belt as well. So Audis of the new era have all the new digital dash. They call it the virtual cockpit, and it is absolutely awesome. It basically displays everything you need to know. put it on, and there, you've got everything. You've got big maps in front of you. You can change all the displays as well, depending on what you want to look at. What's quite cool in the RS5 is that as soon as you get in and you turn the ignition on, the seat starts to slowly hug you, which I just really like. You feel really kind of cocooned in, which I love. Everything's where you expect it to be. Audi have done a great job on basically the ergonomics of the inside of the cockpit. You've got all of your climate control settings just here, and what's really cool is every time you touch a button, it basically brings up the menu of what that button's going to do, whether you push it up or down, which I think is awesome. So there's a little bit of kind of touch feedback on there, which I like. I think that's really nice. Just below it, you have all of your buttons for drive select, so whether you want to be in dynamic or comfort, and there's a few other settings as well. There's automatic start stop, which I have a bit of an issue with, which I'll come on to when we go for a drive in a minute. Traction control settings, sport or off. You've also got the reversing parking sensors and the front parking sensors. You can turn those off as well. And this awesome screen, you have a button where you can basically turn the screen on or off there. The screen is really nice. It's basically in the right place. It doesn't protrude too high, so you still get a lovely view over the front. And it gives you all the information you need. You've got your menu button and you can scroll through, and it's really intuitive to use as well. If you go into navigation and you want to go somewhere, you can either tell it where you want to go with the voice recognition, or you can just write on the top of this little pad, so you can put an address in or a postcode there. You've also got your presets for the radio at the top, and you've got quick, I suppose it's like a quick button for navigation, map, telephone, radio and media. Going down the center column, you've got the gear stick. They pretty much are all the same in all the Audis. It's just nice and solid, it feels good, and you can push it over to manual if you want to use the paddles on the wheel. You've also, and this is a big thing, you've got two ways of turning the volume up and down. Now, as we've mentioned in ITH reviews before, I really hate it when you've got two little wheels on the steering wheel and none of them do the volume. Well, on here, you can do the volume on the steering wheel, and you can also do the volume and change the track just down here as well, which is really cool. Just by the gear stick, you've got your automatic handbrake function and your handbrake function. And in the middle, in terms of storage, you've got a little bit of room. It's not too bad. A lot of other cars go really deep. This is just on this bit here, and you can put your phone on and it will wirelessly charge when it's sat here. You've also got auxiliary input and a USB there as well. And it's a nice little armrest when you got it down. More USBs over here, so there's another one in here, and a 12-volt cigarette supply and 2 cup holders. More storage in here, of course, glove compartment. It's fine. It is not as big as you might expect it to be, and that's mainly because there's a little panel above it where you can put your CD in, and also your you've got 2 memory card slots. If you've got music on an SD card, you can put it in there, a SIM card slot, and a place to turn off the passenger airbag if you want to fit a baby seat here. This, of course, does have fixing points at the bottom. It's a cool place to be. It's kind of everything's where you need it to be, as I said. The steering wheel's fantastic, huge multi-function steering wheel. And what's really nice in the coupe is you get this. If we hold these two, you get a sunroof. And it just makes the cabin feel a lot more airy. There is an issue I have with the sunroof, and that is when you have it open, if you look at the outside of the car, it just looks a bit weird, because it looks like someone's just stuck a piece of glass on the roof and it's just kind of sat there. For me, the styling just doesn't quite work on the sunroof. But of course, you're inside the car and that's all that matters. And with that in mind, it's got 450 horsepower. It's got a lot more torque than the last one. We should probably go and take it for a drive. Actually, just before we do take it out on the road, let's have a little listen to what the exhaust sounds like on startup. There's been a lot of people saying, oh, they've all got the new particulate filters in. Are they going to sound rubbish? Well, you can make your own mind up. This is the RS5 Coupe on startup. The biggest talking point about the new RS5 is the fact that there is no longer a whopping great 4.2 litre V8, but there is a 2.9 litre V6 that produces the same 450 horsepower, but now you get more torque, 442 foot-pound of torque. They've also managed to slash emissions by 17%. So not only are you saving the world, you're also going a bit quicker as well. It'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.9 seconds. Take, for instance, a Mercedes-AMG CLS 53. That does it in 4.5 seconds. And this will reach a top speed of 155 miles an hour, which is limited, but you can get it de-restricted if you want. It's safe to say, yes, we've lost that 4.2 litre V8 that we fell in love with, but we have gained more torque, better weight distribution, and just a bit of a better engine, if I'm being honest. What about the sound though? Have we lost the sound of that amazing V8? Well, we've heard what it sounds like at startup. Let's hear it on full acceleration. What happens when you couple up that new V6 to the fantastic Quattro all-wheel drive system? Well, you get a car which makes me tighten my glutes. Every time you put it in dynamic mode and you put your foot down, you feel like you're part of a bit of an event. It can get rather interesting. The four-wheel drive system on these are amazing, but it does kind of just lose out on a little bit of drama that you might get in a AMG Mercedes, say maybe the C63 for instance. You don't really get the tail out action or the kind of plumes of smoke that you'd want, but you do get a much safer drive. You can still put it on the limit, but when you do, it just feels that little bit, I don't know, safer, I guess is the word to describe it. Something that I mentioned earlier that I said I wanted to talk about was the start-stop system in this car. Now, like most cars, right, you pull up to a set of traffic lights or something, if you're stationary, it will kill the engine to save you a little bit of fuel. That's exactly what it does in this, but it decides sometimes to kill the engine at about 2 miles an hour. So you're just rolling to a stop, and all of a sudden the engine cuts out and you kind of look a bit of an amateur driver. All of a sudden the car kind of rocks backwards and forwards a bit, and I just feel like Audi just need to tinker with the settings on that just to make sure that you are stopped before it kills the engine. Doesn't do it all the time, but it has done it quite a lot since I've been driving it. Another thing I'm not a massive fan of is when you put it into reverse or drive, depending on which one you were in before, it lurches forward quite quickly. So if you're trying to, you know, get in and out of a car park space, you've got to be really careful when you put it into reverse. If you don't have your foot on the brake, it can shoot back slightly. Now, we can't do a review on a potential new daily driver without talking about miles per gallon. How does this new 2.9 litre V6 fare? Well, not that great. It doesn't even matter what Audi say it will do miles per gallon. I'm getting just under 30 if I'm driving sensibly, around about 28 miles per gallon. If I stick my foot down though, you're going into single figures. I've seen it below 10 quite a lot of the time if I've got the car in dynamic mode and I decide to put my foot down. That being said, with only those few little minor details I have about this car that I don't really like, it's awesome. It is blisteringly fast. It's really comfortable. It's so nice to be in. You feel like you're in this cockpit and everything's hugging around you, and you've got your kind of fighter pilot virtual cockpit in front of you, which looks amazing. And you've got all the mod cons that you could possibly need, most of which are already a standard option on this car, which is fantastic from Audi. Big thumbs up. Thank you for just loading the car with loads of options we would have picked anyway. And at BOTB.com, you could win a brand new Audi RS5 Sport Edition for just £3.30. Check out the link in the description below. You only have to be 16 or over, and it is a worldwide competition. You never know, you might just be next week's winner. And now it's time for the famous ITH options list. What should you and shouldn't you spec to this car? Well, usually we'd be going through pages and pages of options, but Audi have very kindly basically spec'd this car for you. There's a lot that you get as standard on the RS5. So here we go. In the UK, you get a sports rear differential as standard. Also standard features are keyless go, leather RS sports steering wheel, floor mats, privacy glass, panoramic glass sunroof, sports exhaust, smartphone interface including wireless charging, DAB, digital radio reception, parking sensors. All of those come as standard. What are the options though? Well, they come in 8 different colours. You can get the Coupe and the Sportback in 8 different colours, 2 different alloy wheel options, electronically adjustable front seats with memory function for the driver's side. That is a must. Definitely tick that. It is £200 extra, but you get a massage function as well, and the seats really do hug you very well. Comfort and sound pack, £1,300. It's a little bit vague. What that does is it gives you an advanced key with electric hands-free boot opening system, and you get the B&O sound system and the rear parking camera as well. Folding side wing mirrors, £125. it's up to you whether you want them. It is quite handy in a parking lot. You can just flick it round and all of a sudden the wing mirror is shut. LED Audi rings or Quattro logo under door. So this is at night when you open the door, you get that illuminated symbol. If you want one or the other, it's £115. LED rear lights, dark tinted, rather expensive at £675. I'm not sure it's quite needed, but if you just want to look a little bit more stylish, that's up to you. You get a 3-year, 60,000 mile warranty as standard, but if you'd like to update that to 4 years, that is going to cost you £600. And if you'd like a coffee machine in the car, that's £210. Do not get the coffee machine. It's not worth it. So it's a £69,000 coupe, but as I said before, at botb.com, you could win one for just a few quid. Please do check out the link in the description below. You only have to be 16 or over, and it is a worldwide competition. They have a winner every single week, and there's over 150 different cars in the lineup for you to pick. And is this the perfect practical daily car? Well, I think it probably is, because as we mentioned at the beginning of the video, you kind of want a bit of everything, and this is exactly what this car has. It has loads of power, but with the practicality, the boot is massive. You can get 4 people in, but I suppose the 2 people in the back probably going to be kids. You've got the looks, you've got the styling inside. It is the fantastic all-round car. Yes, you're probably not going to get 40 miles per gallon, but it's a whopping great engine in there with a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque, so there's got to be a bit of a downside. I think it's fantastic. I love driving this car. It's so direct and responsive. It depends what you want out of something. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more twitchy on the road and a little bit more playful, then you might need to go along the Mercedes route. But for everyday practicality, where you can just drive this around, feel very safe, and at times stick your foot down and have a big smile on your face, the Audi RS5 Coupe is fantastic.